Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How are you doing? Welcome back once again. So, I'm Ridwan. So, we have started this series, this journey towards Python programming. So, we have started. So, this is going to be the part 3. Although, if you have not seen the previous video, you can check, even starting from the roadmap and contents. That is, be it maybe you want to become a data scientist, machine learning engineer, or you want to go into AI fully, or you want to go to backend with Python. So you can take the roadmap so that you will see some of the important things that you need to learn, that you must master before you can say you want to go into that field. Welcome back once again, my people. Hope you have been good. So let's continue from where we stopped in the last class. So we have started, as you can see, we have done some things. We discussed about some data type. This hashtag we use it for a comment. So this one is a string. That means we want to discuss string. Anything inside the quotation is a string. And look at this student underscore name. That's a variable. So variable, that it is something you have in the left hand side. Then after the equal sign, whatever you have there is the value that you are assigning to that variable. You understand? Now, let's now continue from there. So I said in the last class that we have so many data type, mind you, but we just discussed like the basic 3 data type. So of course we are going to continue from there. So now I want to teach you something this morning. So I want you to observe something, everybody. I hope you can see the screen. So I want you to observe something very well. Look at it. Look at this cell. Don't forget, we call each of these one cell. If I go to any cell, can you see? If I click on any cell, look up here, can you see? The thing is being at code by default. If you go to any cell, so it is code by default. So I want to do something. What is that? I want to write something like a title. So like this one, we want to discuss a variable. So your hashtag, you press your hashtag, space, then let me write that in variable. Let me call it variable. Okay. Now, what will I do? I want to make it to look like a title so that it will be bold. So you will now come here, you will not leave that cell, you will now come to this code. See this arrow down, this drop down arrow. Then you come and click mark down. Can you see? Beautiful. Can you see it has turned it to something like this? You will now come there to this cell back and run it just like the way you normally run each cell that you have code inside it. You can use your normal shortcut, which is shift enter variable. Beautiful. Can you see? Maybe you have made a mistake, maybe you want to add something to it again. You can go back here. I can double click on it. When you double click, I can come here and say, okay, maybe I want to add something, variable concept. Okay, you understand? And I will run it again. Maybe it is too bold. Are you with me? Maybe it is too bold and you want to reduce it, the font. Double click it. What will you just do? Just add one more hashtag. It's as simple as that. If I had another hashtag, that's 3 hashtags. If I run it now, can you see? So that is how to achieve that in Python using Jupyter Notebook. Okay. So now we are talking about variable. We said that variable is something that you have to assign something to. You understand? So let us now see different way of naming variable. We have already seen some. Of course, look at this one. In this case now, q is a variable. You assign 21 to q. So when you say print q, it will give you 21. Here, a is a variable. Although don't forget what we discussed here. We said if you assign something to this a, later you assign another value to that same a, later you assign another thing like 36 to a. So when you say print a, it will not see all this previous value. It will see the latest one. So the last thing you assign to it, that is, so you have to understand that. So now somebody will now be like, okay, can I say my name with space is equal to what? Is equal to, let's say read one. So can I say something like that? Can you see? You now say print my underscore name. Can we do something like this? That is the question. So you now say print, let's check it out. It will not, this is not possible. It will tell you invalid syntax. That's an error. Why? We cannot name variable like this. Okay. But can I say Ivan? Can I use Ivan? Maybe something like this. That Ivan is like minus. That is not possible as well. But you can use underscore. You now say print my underscore name. I said my underscore name is Ridwan. I am assigning Ridwan to my underscore name. Then I will now say print my underscore name. Can you see? Very beautiful. So that's another way of naming variable. Now I can also say that my, for example, let me say here I want to use camel case because we have different way of naming our variable. Camel case. Which one is camel case? For example, I can say my age is 21. Are you with me? My age is 21. So I can now say print my age. Okay, print my age. Print my age. What do you observe? This is it. What do you observe? My is another word. My is one word. Age is another word. Are you with me? You are combining two words together. Anytime you are doing something like that, and you want to use camel case, you will start, the first word will start with lowercase. Can you see M, lowercase? That's one letter. That's what you call lowercase. But the second word, age, that's another word. That one starts with uppercase. That's capital letter. So capital letter is what you call uppercase. So we now say 21. Can you see that? So if I say print my age, the same way you define it to, can you see? 21. That is called camel case. Okay. So in order to be very fast, so let me copy this one and paste it here. Now we want to discuss, let me edit. We want to discuss Pascal case. Which one do we call Pascal case? So that is, no matter the word, let me say my new age. So look at this one. My new age is 32. So look at this. I am joining three words together here. Okay. That three words, each of the words from the beginning starts with uppercase. Look at my is one word, starts with uppercase. New starts with uppercase N. Age starts with uppercase A. Can you see that? So that is called what? Pascal case. Are you with me? Now, if I say print my new age, if I run it now, so what do you have? 32. Am I communicating? So take note of that. So we have camel case, we have Pascal case. We can use different ways. I can, just like the way I'm using underscore here. I can use underscore for what? Either for 3 words. If you want to join 3 words, 4 words, 5 words, you can use what? Underscore. You can use camel case. You can use that way. I can use underscore to separate them. Like this one now. My new age. I can use underscore. My underscore new underscore age is very possible. Is allowed. Okay. So then another thing is, can I say maybe val 2 is equal to 6? Then I will now say print val 2. Print what? Print val 2. Okay. Print val 2. So can I say that? Of course, yes. We can end our variable with value, but we cannot start with the value. We cannot say 2 val 1. We now say is equal to 35, 34. You now want to say print 2 val 1. That is not allowed. So we cannot start your variable name with value. So you now say we now want to say print 2 val 1. Can you see? To give you an error, invalid decimal something. Are you with me? Please take note of that. We cannot start your variable with value. Okay. Now let's talk about single variable assignment. So let me just put the comment here. Single variable assignment. What do we mean? Look at it. Single variable assignment. Single variable assignment. So what do we mean here? For example, now I can say, okay, let's say x is equal to 6. Okay, I can say y is equal to what? 5. Okay, I can say c is equal to what? 3. Okay, then I can say print. If I say print x, print y, print c, of course, what will it give me? To give me all that. So let's say print what? Print x. So to make it snappy, let me just copy this. Okay, print x, print y, print c. Okay, now if I run this, of course, it will give us all the values 6, 5, and 3 respectively. But imagine these are just 3 variables. Let's say we have like 10, 15. You understand? That would be too much. So we now want to be doing it on different line. So we can use a very simple approach. We can do everything on single line. Okay, so what do I mean? Instead, I can say x, comma y, comma what, comma c equal to, let's say, depending on the value you want, mind you, comma 21, comma 8. Now, please, I need your attention very well here. So let me just come here, can just come here and copy print xyz here so that we'll not be wasting our time, mind you. So let me control V, X, Y, C. Now, what is going to happen here, everybody? I want you to observe something. The first variable here is X, second variable is Y, third one is C. The first value at the right-hand side is 12, second is 21, third is 8. What will happen? It will assign the value from the right-hand side to those variables at the left-hand side, respectively. 12 will go to X, 21 will go to Y, 8 will go to C. Are you with me? Now, that means I have 3 variables at the left-hand side, 3 values at the right-hand side that will be assigned to them. Stop work. Now, somebody will now have that, okay, if as the way I have this x, y, c, can I have just 2 values at the right-hand side? What will happen? No, it will give you an error. Look at what it's going to give you. Not enough values to unpack. Direct English, expected 3, got 2. Are you with me? Although this one is actually saying this unpack, when we get to tuple, I told you that we discuss all the data type fully, and tuple is one of the data type. We have tuple, we have list, we have dictionary, we have boolean, we have range, do you understand me? So we are going to discuss them one after the other fully. So one of them is tuple. So when we get there, I will discuss what this unpacking mean. This thing is saying that, but for now, so this one is very straightforward. It said it's expecting 3. Why is he expecting 3? Because at the left hand side, I have 3 variables. So definitely I'm expecting 3 values also at the right hand side. Am I communicating? But instead, it got 2. I will now say, okay, sorry, let me add one more. I can say I want to add 18. You can add any value you like, mind you. So if I say print that now, x is what? 12. Y is what? 21. C is what? 18. That's beautiful, okay? Now, another thing is, okay. Can I have 2 variables at the left-hand side, and I will have 3 values at the right-hand side? 2 variables at the left-hand side, 3 values. Can you see that they are still not what? They are not corresponding. They are not the same. So if I run it, will still give you an error. It said too many values to unpack. Can you see too many values? Because it is expecting 2 values to be assigned to, because we have 2 variables. So that means the number of variables you have, that's what we are saying. The variable is that the number of variables you have at the left-hand side is the number of what you have at the left-hand side. Actually, this one here, the one I just did now, okay, we can call this one multivariable assignment. Okay, let me copy this one so that I will come and explain something here, so that I don't want you to be confused. Look at this one. We can call this one multivariable assignment. This one we can call it multivariable assignment. So so with this multivariable assignment, there's something we can also achieve. I'm going to show you something though. I just need our attention. Okay, so this is the multivariable. So what do we mean? That is, we are assigning this one to many variables. Okay, now multivariable assignment. Okay, so this one is single variable what? Assignment. All right. Now the thing is this, everybody, I need your attention. Another thing I want you to observe, if I say x is, maybe your intention is to assign the same value to some variable. For example, you say x is 12, okay, and you now say y is what? 12 again. That's your intention. That is, you want all the variables to have the same value, mind you. Let me say p equal to 12 as well. Okay. In that case, for now I just have 3 variables. Imagine you have 10 variables and you want all of them to hold the same value. It will be too stressful for us to be doing it on different lines. Okay. So if I say print what? Print x. Print what? X. Print x. Of course, we can copy and paste. Print x, print what? Y, and print what? P. Print y, print what? Print p. Okay. So if I run it now, instead of stressing ourselves, the best approach we can use is that we can say x is equal to, look at it, y is equal to p, then is equal to, I can use another value, let me say 34. So if I come here, let me print x, y, and p. Okay. Now, can you see? What I'm saying is that I want to assign 34 to p, but that same value, I want to assign it to y. That same value, I want to assign it to x. Very beautiful. If I run it now, wow, beautiful. Can we all see that? That's good. That means instead of us to be stressing ourselves, okay, in order to do what? To assign the same value, mind you, the same value to a variable, or to many variables rather. So we can use this approach. Am I communicating? Good. Now, the next thing we want to do under variable is what we call swapping. What did I say? Swapping. We have many ways to swap anyway, but I will tell you the most efficient way. Okay? And the most efficient way, or before swapping, let me discuss this, everybody. Let me ask you this. What if I say, for example, now, if I say x is 50, look at it. If I say x is 50, you can use any value, mind you. X is 50. Of course, you already know what I'm doing now. What am I doing? I'm assigning 50 to x. Good. Now, what am I doing here? I'm saying y is what? X is 50. Let's say y is 100. Now, everybody, look at something. If I say that x is equal to what? 300. Now I'm saying y is equal to x. Don't be confused though. You get it now. If I say print x, let me copy this one so that it will not copy print x, print y. If I say print x and print y, please somebody, what do you think? X is 50, y is 100. Now we are not saying what? X is 300. I'm not saying y is x, print y. What do you suggest? Even before we run the code, let's analyze it together. We say x is 50, we say y is 100. Yeah, beautiful. Now, on the next line, we say x is 300. Do you remember what you said, that when you assign value to a variable, or when you assign different value to the same variable, it's going to recognize the last value you assign to it. What does that mean? That is, for now, it will recognize 300 as the value of x, because this is the last value we assign to x. Beautiful. Now, here, we are now saying what? Whatever the x is holding. What is x holding, everyone? 300. Good. Whatever x is holding, I want to assign that same thing to y. That means if I say print x, print y now. Beautiful, it will be 300. But imagine if I just comment this. Imagine if I comment this guy out. I only have x is 300 here and print x, print y. What will you do? To print 300 for x and y will still remain what? 100. Do you understand? But if I remove the comment, that means the last value we assign to y also, that is what is going to be recognized. That's why we have print x, print y. So both of them give us what? Give us what? The same value, 300. Beautiful. Let me copy this. But let me ask you this, everyone. This is another beautiful thing that we need to understand. What is that? Okay, what if I do something like this? Look at it, everyone. What if I do this before I now assign another value to x? What do you think? Wow, this is lovely. Here we are saying x is 50, y is 100. Can you see it is different from this? Here will now be like they are the same. They are not the same. Here, what are we doing? we are changing the value of x before we assign x to y. But here, I am assigning x to y before I change the value of x. Wow. What is now the difference? Let us see it together. The thing is this. I have x to be 50 here. I have y to be 100, isn't it? Here, I'm not saying y is x. What am I doing? I am assigning whatever x is holding, whatever the value of x is, assign that value to y. And what is the value of x up to this stage? It is 50. Because we don't know any value of x before this line, right? It is only what? 50. So 50 will be assigned to y. That's good. Now, in the next line, that means here, don't forget, let me comment here. That means for now, here, y will now be 50. How? Because we are assigning what? The value of x to y. So y will now be 50. But in this case, after this line, we now move to the next line. We now say x is 400. What are you doing? We are now changing the value of x from whatever it was to 400. We are assigning 400 to x. That means we are changing the value of x now. Are you with me? So if I say print x, it will give us the new value of x entirely, which is what? 400. Then print y. It will now give us what? The value of y. The last value that was assigned to y, which is what? 50. Wow. Beautiful. Do you understand that? Aha, it's as beautiful as that. Please let us take note of that. Very easy like that. Okay, you can just go through it again and you'll get the concept. Now, finally, we can now talk about swapping. Swapping. What do you mean by swapping? It's just an English word to change value from something. Okay, let me use that concept. Let me just copy this one. So, okay, let me copy this. Now, see what we are talking about now. Let's say x is 50 here. So let me run this. If I say x is 50, y is 100. Very easy. If I run it, of course, x will be 50, y will be 100. But I want to swap them. What do I mean? If I print x, I want x to give me 100, the value of y. And if I print y, I want y to give me the value of x, which is 50. How do we do that? Wow. Let me just give us this very simple scenario. Let's say you have a bucket that is filled with apple, another bucket that is filled with banana. Now we want to swap them, and you must not pour all those things on the floor. You must not pour them on the ground. What do? We can do one thing. We can get an empty bucket. What will I do with the empty bucket? I can pour the apple from the apple bucket. I will pour it on that empty bucket. Are you with me? I will now pour banana into the bucket of apple. Your bucket of apple now is empty because we have already poured the apple into the empty bucket that we just got from somewhere. We now pour banana into that apple bucket. I will put it one side. Now the banana bucket is empty as well. Okay, I will now pour that apple into that banana bucket. We have swapped them like that. What did we do? We got an extra bucket, an empty bucket. So the same way we can use that idea here, but I'm going to use two different approaches. Okay, two different methods to achieve that. The first method is that one I just narrated now. So that means here I have x and y, two variables. I have to introduce new variable entirely. I can say a is equal to what? What will I do? I will now say, okay, let me say a is x. What is the meaning of that? I am assigning the value of x to a. That means a will now become what? 50. Beautiful. I know we all know how that one is working, right? Now a is 50, isn't it? Now I want to say y is equal to a. What are you doing, everybody here? What am I doing like that? What is a? A is 50. I'm now assigning the value of a to y. That means y will now be 50. That's beautiful. Y will now be what? Okay, better still. Let me do something like this. Let me say, okay, x is what? 50, right? Y is what? 100. Here, let's say our a is what? 50 now, isn't it? I cannot say, let's x to be, or better still, let me say, okay, before then, so that we not confuse ourselves. Let's say y is x. Let's see what will happen here. If I say y is x, everybody, what will happen? Don't forget to x is still what? A is 50, right? Because we are assigning the value of x to what? To A, and that is 50, isn't it? Good. But now, I can say x is what? I can say x is what? What if I say x is what? Let me check something. What if I say x is what? Here, A has become 50. But here, I'm saying y should be x. What is the meaning? Whatever the value of y is, I want to assign it to x. And what is the value of y here, everybody? It is 100. Then I want to assign that 100 to x. What does that mean? That is, now, x will now become what? 100. Am I communicating? If x is now 100, now, what do I want to do? And I want to say y is to be equal to A. Please, don't be confused though. Let me start again. Here, we say x is 50, right? Y is 100. Now, we say here, x should be assigned to A. X, what is x? 50 should be assigned to A. Where will A be? A will now become 50. Beautiful. Now, in the next line, we now want to say x now should be changed to the value of y. Don't forget, my y still remain 100 here. We have not changed it. And I say y, the value of y should be assigned to x. Are you with me? The value of y should be assigned to x. And what's the value of y? 100. So 100 should be assigned to x. X will now become 100. Beautiful. Now, finally, I want to change the value of y. And I say value of y should be A. Whatever A is holding. And what is A holding here? 50. Wow, that's lovely. So if I print x now, and I print y, instead of x to give me 50, it will give me value of y, which is 100. And y will give me value of x, which is 50. Wow. That is what? That is lovely. That's the first approach. Then another approach, which is very, very easy and interesting, is this. Let's say this is 500. And this one is this. Let me remove this one. Let me just run it now. What is x? 500. Correct. What is y? 100 before swapping. Now I want to swap. Now, what is the second method? I can say x comma y is equal to y comma x. Wow. Are you serious? Do you mean it? Are you sure this one give you? Of course it will give us. Can you see that? Wow. X now become 100. Y now become 500. Can you see? Before swapping, can you see? X will remain 500 definitely. And y will be 100. After swapping. So what are you saying here? You say that the value of y should be assigned to x, and the value of x should be assigned to y. You remember multivariable assignment that we did up there? Exactly. That's what is happening here. Beautiful. That is how lovely and interesting and how cool what the data type, the swapping is. Do you get that? All right, that's good. Now, fully, we now want to discuss all those data types that we have. So let me write that stuff. Data what? Data types. Don't forget that we have already discussed some of the data types. So let me go to Markdown. So that will give me what now I can run it. So data types. So the most commonly used data type that we have in Python, we are going to discuss all of them. But before then, everybody, do you remember there was a time I was telling you comments in Python? I told you that when you are using all those hashtag, that is single line comment. Can you see? Look at this one now. I use hashtag here, single line comment. Look at this one. I use hashtag here, single line comment. I now said that we also have multi-line comment. Are you with me? So that is, we also have another one that we call multi-line comment. Multi-line comment. So if we want to achieve multi-line comment, so for example, let's say I want to say print. How do we achieve? We use what we call doc string to achieve multi-line comment. And how will that work? You just get this triple quotation up here, open it, then come down here, open this, close it. Anything you put inside here it will see it, all of them as something you want to comment. So if I say print outside it now, look at it. If I say print, print hello Python, can you see that? Hello Python. So anything you put here, if I say print what? Python. Let me just say like just for, okay, just for, mind it, just for. Let's say this one is Java. Say this one is what? PHP. So let's say Python again, does not matter, okay? We just want to observe something. Now look at this. If I run this one now, everybody, it is only this thing that is outside this dot string. Can you see this triple quotation up here? Triple quotation down here, just to close it. So that means we have like 100 lines of code that you want to comment. Instead of us to be saying hashtag, to add hashtag to all of them, we can use this approach. We put all the number of lines of code inside this dot string, okay? If I run this one now, only the one outside will be executed. Wow, can you see that? Very beautiful. Please take note of that, okay? Now, we now want to discuss our what? Data types. Now, I want to use this dot string approach, okay? I want to use this dot string approach to list all those data types that we have. The commonly used data type, okay? Yes, let me remove this. Then, so number one, let me say number one. So of course we know what string is, isn't it? We have string. Okay. Number two, we have what? We have numbers. Okay. So numbers is part of them, but in that numbers, there are many of them. Okay. We have integer, int. We have discussed integer. We have what? Float. And we have what? Complex. We have not talked about complex, mind you. So we are going to talk about it. So under numbers, we have int, we have what? Float, we have what? Complex. We know what string is, anything inside the quotation. We know what int is, that's integer. Whatever is the whole value you have. We know what float is, whatever, any value that has what? Decimal point. Then complex, I will explain that one to you. So complex number, just like, it's not that very serious. It's just another concept in mathematics. So we are not doing mathematics, but you know, integer also, we are using it for mathematics. Float, that's decimal something. All the number, we are using them to perform some simple, maybe math something. So complex is just something that has real and imaginary parts. I will demonstrate that to you later. So now, after that one, we have range. We have range. All of this one, we are going to see the example, beautiful example of each and every one of them. We just want to know at least some of the commonly used data type that we have first, okay? So Boolean, we have Boolean data type as well. And under this Boolean, that's where we're talking about true or, either true or false, okay? True or, when maybe something is true or false, yes or no, you understand? That's a Boolean. 5. So we have lists, we have tuple, we have set, we have dictionary, okay? So list. Well, we see all of them in demonstration. See them in demonstration. Tuple. Number 7 is sets and dictionary. So these are the commonly, we see some little data type, especially maybe under, let's say under collection API, where we'll be talking about some other things about array, the queue, all those things. But these are the commonly used data type, okay, that we have in Python. Are you with me? Good. Of course, we have seen some of them like string, integer, float. So, but we see some of the example on each of this one now. So, let's now start. From where? From string. I know that we know what string is, okay? So, example of a string. Okay, sorry, let me zoom this one so that you can see clearly. Okay, example of a string. If I say name is equal to what? Lion. Or let me say name is Alex. This is an example of a string, isn't it? Anything inside the quotation. That means in this case, this name is a string. Why? Because the value that we assign to this variable name is string. Therefore, this name is holding string, because this one is a reference. We are assigning this Alex, this value to this guy. So therefore, that name, it makes that name to be a string. Okay. We are going to see how to check the data type of a particular variable. Okay, depending like based on the value that variable is holding. Okay, now let's go. To make everything simple, let me copy, paste, and let me see now. That string, example of integer. Int. What is the example of integer? Thank you. We have done it before. So I can say something like x is equal to maybe minus something or positive, either positive or negative. Will be good. So let me see the next one, float, right? So example of a float, that is anything that has what? Decimal point. Thank you. So I can say here y is equal to maybe 23.7. Okay, so it can be 23.0 in as much it has decimal point, right? Good. Now we want to discuss complex number. Okay, so I said we have not done that before, so let me now talk about complex data type. What do we call complex data type? Let me explain to you. It's very simple. Okay, this is the example. We can have, if I have something like z, let me comment it so that you understand. This is what we call complex number. If I say z is equal to x either plus or minus, okay, let me put it like this, either plus or minus yj. This is called a complex number. Okay, this is a complex number. Why? So this is here z is a complex number that consists of two things. Which are real part and imaginary part. And so next line, and imaginary part. What do we mean? That is, for example, here in this case, we said x is equal to x, z is equal to, or z is equal to x plus or minus yj. That j must be there. In some textbooks, they use I, we call it iota. So that j, they actually have value, but we are not going to use the value here. We are not using it for anything, okay? So it is actually square root of -1, but don't worry about that. The only thing you have to know as a Python developer is that we have another data type that we call complex, and this is the way we write it. It will be in two parts. So in this case now, x is the real part. Don't forget that we said complex number consists of two parts, real part and imaginary part. So real part, x is the real part, and that yj is the imaginary part. Okay, imaginary part. Are you with me? Beautiful. Now let us see example. Example now is this. Let's say I said a is equal to 4 plus 6j. Another one, let's say q is equal to 5 minus 3j. Wow, can you see that? Somebody can ask me that if I use any other value, any other letter aside j, will it work? Never. It can never work. It will not recognize it as what? As a complex number. Are you with me? In fact, let me show you something. For example, if I say print, for you to understand what I'm talking about, if I say print what? Print a now. and print what? Print Q. Okay, print A, print Q. If I run it now, beautiful. Wow, can you see? 4 plus 6J, that's A. For you to know that it recognize that thing, then Q 5 minus 3J. Now, in this case, look at A. In this case, 4 is the real part if you follow this derivation. The reason why we put plus or minus here is because what I'm saying is it can be plus, it can be minus. Can you see the example? A, 4 plus 6J. That means here it is plus. Here, Q is 5 minus 3J. Here, it is minus. So that's why we said plus or minus, okay? Aha. So this is a complex number. Now, for A part now, for A example, 4 is the real part, 6J is the imaginary part. If you follow this definition, because we said for Z is equal to X plus or minus YJ, X is the real part, then this YJ is the imaginary part. But here, we can say here, 4 is the real part, then 6J is the imaginary part. Look at the second example. 5 is the real part, then minus 3J is the imaginary part because minus must be included, okay? Minus 3J is the imaginary part. Even here too, you can say plus J plus 6J is the imaginary part. For Q, minus 3J is the imaginary part. Now, if you now put something, if you put another letter, let's say I, can you see the color is even different? It cannot recognize it again. It is all those things that it recognizes that it will put them in green color or any color that is showing from your hand. Your own color may be different, it may be blue or whatever. But once it is not showing that, that means it cannot recognize it. Although in mathematics world, there are some textbooks, whether I or J, very correct. But in programming, in Python, it only recognizes J as the imaginary part. Can you see invalid decimal letter? Okay, so it only recognizes that. Are you with me? So that is that about that. So for now, so these are just the basic example under what we have string, we have integer, we have float. Now we have complex. That is a complex type. So I think we have tried for today, guys. So in the next video, we'll continue from here. Don't forget, we said we have many of these. So we are done. We are now on integer float complex. So we will now continue with the range, boolean, true, false list, tuple, set, and dictionary. Then after that, we now do what? We now start talking about them fully in details. I mean, we now start talking about each and every one of them, one of data type in details. Their methods, the kind of manipulation we can do with them, how we can do conversion from one data type to another, which we call casting, which can be divided into implicit and explicit casting. etc. So many concepts that are very, very beautiful. Okay, so please, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends and family that can make this thing, so that this thing will be very, very useful and beneficial to them. Thank you, guys, once again. Take care. I will upload new one soon. Okay, bye.